What if Antarctica was warmer for some reason? Just to make this slightly less ridiculous, we'll assume it's only as warm as Northern Scandinavia. This would make it habitable, but still incredibly cold and inhospitable. Still, the Polynesians had a history of exploring much of the world, so they'd probably arrive and settle the northern parts of Antarctica. Not only would this discovery afford them access to abundant wood, but also the large megafauna that exist in colder environments. These Antarcticans could also learn to hunt seals just as the Inuits did in the north, and their warm blubber would be stored up to light lamps, keeping their habitations warm and illuminated through the long winters where there would be no daylight. While these Antarcticans may trade with the rest of Polynesia, it's unlikely that having travelled so far to reach this continent that it wouldn't occur to them to travel around it. So they'd eventually discover the Antarctic Peninsula, which would in fact be an island without ice. Although during the winter the southern tip of this island would be very icy. Significantly though, the northern tip would be the northernmost and thus warmest part of the continent. And if they then settled this island, they would undoubtedly at some point consider heading further north until they encountered the Tierra del Fuego and the rest of South America. By this time the Spanish would claim most of the continent, but exercising very little control over its southern tip. The Polynesians would have had little experience discovering new land that was already inhabited. It's unlikely they'd be able to make war against the native population, so they'd probably just seek trade. Through Polynesian Antarctica there would be a trade network connecting South America to Australasia, and all this before a single European had even seen a Polynesian and not yet settled any of their land. But as the European age of exploration continued, this encounter would be inevitable. Check the comments if you're interested in part 2 of this alternative history series.